Only winners in studio. Only winners are allowed to join us in studio, and one winner is here, as he is every Wednesday. Political analyst Stephen Lawson. Stephen, good morning. You look fantastic. You got the blazer on. Hopefully, you're not going to the airport to catch a flight.
Absolutely not. I think I'd have my PJs on if I were going to the airport.
The good news today is you're a traveler, right?
I do.
Yeah. We had Steve Osunsami on, and he said right now there was no delays at the main checkpoint, like major rush between 5:30 and 7:30, and then everything kind of chills out.
Yeah, you're seeing these crazy waves, these ebbs and flows, right? This massive rush in the morning where people are getting there at 2 or 3 a.m. and still not making their flight, and then it's like a ghost town in the evening. So I don't know if they're going to have to potentially adjust flight times, if people are going to start planning for that. I think that's definitely something to watch out for.
So we thought we might be getting close to a deal yesterday when we were on the air, but apparently Democrats said no to the proposal that Senator Thune put forth, and President Trump has said he doesn't want to make any deals with the Democrats. They're going on spring break in 3 days. Like, the clock's ticking, man. Are we going to get an end to this partial government shutdown?
The clock is ticking, and I think they've got to do something. This is totally dysfunctional, what we're seeing. I think, obviously, Congress's approval rating was already in the toilet. If there's a lower button, like they are trying to find it. I don't think it's good for any politicians in Washington. I don't think it's good for the Democrats, because I think clearly they are holding this up for political purposes. They are trying to maneuver and do all these things and hold this funding hostage. You have Democrat sources going on record in Washington, D.C., basically laughing about ICE agents and saying good luck, and like this is a political game to them. I think there are people's lives and livelihoods on the line. When you think about the number of people that are missing flights for loved ones, for business purposes, this is having an incredibly negative impact on the economy. But to that end, I don't think it's helping Republicans either not come to the table and not figure this out. I think they need to carve out the TSA and FAA funding. I think they need to leave the ICE funding alone for now.
I mean, that's the simplest solution. And the fact that it's not getting done, if you and I know that, and Leader Thune knows that, and Minority Leader Schumer, like they all know there's an easy fix to this. It's just a matter of, not wanting to, which is just asinine at this point. I mean, we are 39 days into this partial government shutdown. And it's layered on the fact that we're at war with Iran, where we need more security than ever at airports.
Yes, we need more solutions across the board in this country right now, not more problems. And clearly the airlines, I think, are all united in trying to find what is the pain points for Congress and members of Congress to move. I thought Delta made a really interesting move yesterday where they basically said, this special provision that members of Congress get, where they get to bypass lines, they get a 24/7 phone line, any changes to their flights, this concierge service, hey, we're going to take that away from you until you're going to get treated like every other airline passenger, which I think was a brilliant idea. I said they should take that one step further and basically say, we're taking that away from you until you permanently carve out TSA and FAA from any future government shutdowns. That will, I think, get them to actually move on this, because it's ridiculous. This political fighting that's going on, our air traffic controllers, like accidents and emergencies are happening because of this silly season, and it's got to stop.
I said, I think it was last half hour, not only, forget the concierge service, but I'm pretty sure Delta, United, American, they're pretty big political donors. I would even threaten, hey, you're getting none of our money for your campaigns, your PACs, until you get this straightened out. Maybe that actually might move the needle.
They totally should. I think that they should put all options on the table. And because here's the thing, the American people, by and large, across the board, are supporting them, supporting the airlines in this fight to get this funding open. They've got to do something. I think they've got to carve out TSA and FAA from any future government shutdowns. And that way we're not having to go through this. Think about the economic impact every time something like this happens. It's ridiculous.
And the economic impact of the war in Iran, we heard from the CEO of United, just with the fuel increases thus far, jet fuel increases, it's $11 billion loss to that airline right now. They're having to pay, which means you and I are going to have to pay more for flights. The Iran war kind of getting, from where I'm sitting, I'm getting mixed messages. So President Trump says we're in negotiations. Iran says I don't know what he's talking about. President Trump says we've won the war, but we're moving more troops to the region. As long as this war goes on, it's going to remain a political issue. Does the president need to be concerned that this thing's wrapped up by the midterms?
He should. Well, it should be. No, I think that timeline and that runway needs to be way shorter than that, Mark. I mean, I think we are probably a few weeks away from, oil prices are already very high. They're already elevated, but we're a few weeks away from them really jumping through the roof. That is going to have a trickle down effect on every part of our economy at the worst time, heading into the summer, heading into travel. Inflation is already stubbornly high. It's not really coming down to the levels that I think the Fed wants to see it. We're talking about housing being expensive. All of those affordability issues have not come down, and this is the last thing the administration needs. I think they need a quick off-ramp to this. I know that they are working on that, but I think the sooner the better, because the longer this goes on, the worse things I think are going to get, and the worst political environment that I think it's going to create for the midterms.
I meant to send this to you, and I think I actually forgot to bookmark it on X, but did you? I think it was in the AJC. Some mystery super PAC or mystery group is sending out these mailers regarding the Republican primary for governor. Did you see that? They couldn't trace where the money was coming from. And I didn't actually fully read the story. I was like, oh, let me read this later with Stephen. Is it they were attacking one candidate? Was it they attacking Jones or Jackson? I can't remember.
So this was something that got circulated late last night. It is a pro Burt Jones mailer attacking Rick Jackson. And one of the citations that they use is an op-ed saying that that Jackson does not support eliminating the state income tax. The problem with that is the op-ed is actually from Kim Jackson, a Democrat state senator.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and so that was either inadvertent or on purpose that they were being that vague, but it's certainly making the rounds in Georgia political circles.
That's ridiculous.
It is. And Rick Jackson's campaign is firing back saying, again, this is another lie from Burt Jones, et cetera, et cetera. You can't trust him.
What is the Jones? Has the Jones camp said anything?
No, the super PAC that was responsible for this ad is declining to comment. And they're also sort of an untraceable entity in that the reporting has shown that their address goes to essentially a non-physical P.O. box.
That's crazy. That's one of the benefits, Deborah, of having a last name named Aram. I'm the only Mark Aram in the world, so there's no way anyone could do a phony mailer, super PAC mailer. That's insane. I should have read the article instead of just the headline.
Sounds like we have an idea now.
Yeah, exactly. Stephen, let's stay local. Gold Dome sine die on the horizon. Anything we should know from the state capitol?
Yeah, lots going on in the state capitol. There's lots of back and forth between the Senate and the House right now. I would say tensions are high. I think that's an easy way to put it. Lots of pending legislation. We did have a couple things pass out earlier this week. That ban on cell phones in high school went through. That is on the governor's desk. We expect him to sign that. That had huge bipartisan support. So that's one thing that's on the governor's desk. You've talked about the gas tax suspension for 60 days. Mm-hmm. I think that will bring a little relief to Georgians at the pump. Again, that was a priority of the House and the Senate to get that done. But there's lots of other things, especially in the educational world. We've got cursive handwriting making a comeback to grades 3 through 5. That's on the table in the legislature. We've got a literacy bill that is the priority of the House Speaker, basically putting literacy coaches in all K through 8 schools. That's still on the table. We've got school safety, a weapons detection mandate.
We talked about that, which I think bipartisan, that's great. My only question is the funding on that, because that's it's not cheap to get those weapons detectors.
It is. There was a lot of money in the budget last year that was put in for school safety. I think $100 million in school safety grants. But yeah, I think one of the things the bill does is give school districts the flexibility. Talking about AI, there's cameras that can detect that stuff as opposed to metal detectors, by and large. And then again, we've still got property tax reductions. We've got income tax reductions on the table. We've got also making daylight savings permanent. There's lots of big ticket items still on the table. I think the question is how much are they going to be able to get done before next Friday, fighting against the clock for Sine Die.
Friday is Sine Die?
Yep.
All right. Remind me to take Friday morning off, Deborah. Stephen Lawson, you can find him on Dentons.com, DENTONS.com. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Happy Wednesday.
And maybe I'll see you at opening day.
Hey, go Braves.
But do I have a second? I got 30 seconds. Do we figure out, can we watch the Braves on TV yet? Have you figured it out?
Yes, I've signed up, so I just now need to download the app, the MLB Braves Vision app on the television.
Because I know they've signed up with, like, they went through Charter, but I'm still waiting
Spectrum,
for Comcast Xfinity.
All you need is the app. They've got instructions, and I think
I can get the app on.
You can get
Xfinity.
the app on your I think
All right.
through cable, but also on your streaming services.
Best news I heard all day.